everybody. It's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today, sorry to say our buddy Pat isn't with us, but we'll carry on the mantle without him. So I have my other, the guru of everything Star Wars, David. Say hey to the people.
Hello, everybody. Great to be with you guys tonight. I'm excited about tonight's shows. Maybe the most excited I've been in several weeks to talk about your show. So always great to be with you.
All right.
These movies, I'm really looking forward to chatting about.
Hey, and look, it's our buddy Tim Windsor. And so, hey, he's here early, so we're glad to see him. And what today we are watching Moon Knight, the 4th episode, watching The Batman starring Robert Pattinson, and Death on the Nile, the Agatha Christie movie with Kenneth Branagh and a cast of famous people, including Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot. And so, why don't we get started with the 4th and wild episode of Moon Knight.
I know that you're having a great deal of difficulty being able to differentiate between what's real and what's in your head.
So if they just sprang to life right now and asked me a riddle for passage, I'd be thrilled.
Oh, wow, look at that. Look at all these relics. No way, that's not right.
Oh man, people getting snatched up all over the place on this episode. So wild stuff happened this week. David, what'd you think?
Well, I tell you, we were kind of wondering if there'd be any kind of Fight Club kind of thing, and we got that. I was reading up. I put down the Ferengi rules of acquisition, and I went to those are words of wisdom to live by. Let me tell you what. Treat your friends like family and exploit them. I think that was number 87.
Oh, wow.
But no, I was reading the Urban Dictionary today, and in the immortal words of the Urban Dictionary, we've got to put some cheese on this. Which means I just see this as a big mistake, and the only way we got to get some cheese on it to make it just kosher. I just can't get into this, man.
Kosher.
I am not here for accuracy, okay?
Don't go back to the Urban Dictionary.
Facts and cultural references are awesome. I almost got kicked out of Wall Street for asking for cheese on my roast beef.
Oh, no.
I wasn't trying to say something stupid, but you know what? I'm apt to say something stupid. Pam, I just can't get into this show. I expected the nuttiness of it. They're in the nut house. Man, this by a long last. This is like the last horse that's coming into the Derby in a couple of weeks. Of all the Marvel shows, this is the least one I can really just embrace.
Oh, this one? Okay, so finally, to me, it kind of got some energy to it, and it kind of like came up in my estimation. It gave me very like Mr. Robot, Fight Club kind of situations. Right. But it also could be that as you can see, if you watch the episode, okay, so we're gonna do spoilers because it's Saturday and you should have seen it by now.
You're gonna watch this mess of a show.
Yeah, the third sarcophagus, was different. So I think there's even a third personality inside of Stephen Mark. I think it's Stephen Mark, and as I read up on it, maybe Jake, but I don't know where they're going.
I think it's the Fat Man.
Yeah, Fat Man Lord. And I think that, but it also could be that, hey, the superpowered Dare or Die team is just popping in. Hey, fellas. And they are, I think that maybe Arthur Harrow has finally taken over his mind. And so he might be doing some stuff to him that is making him seem like he's in somewhere where maybe he's not. So, but it also could be the truth. So you don't know yet with this episode, kind of where the direction they're going. But I'm finally glad that they got to this point, because apparently this is very pivotal in the comics, that he's been in mental hospitals before.
Right.
And so this is interesting. How is it him in a mental hospital, or is he being gaslit by Arthur Harrow to make him feel like he's crazy? But he's obviously got some mental health issues.
What do you think?
Maybe he's not in prison, because I think what was interesting, if you looked at that part of the episode, there were a lot of symbols from his other life. So the story of what they were watching on TV, the lady in the chair holding a scarab, the pictures that they were watching in the doctor's office, if you looked at it, it still looked like the ruins, just in white. But, and the doctor had a cane. Oh, look at Oscar Boo. Oh, he's not little anymore. He's a big boy.
80 pounds and 1 year old.
Yeah. Oh, our baby's almost one with us too. But there was a lot of symbolism in there that go back and watch, because there's a lot of things in it that were super interesting. So I think this is coming out, so I'm excited to see. I think there's only 2 episodes left.
Right.
So definitely check out Moon Knight's kind of a mixed review.
Let me ask you, Pam, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. Do you think it's all happening in his mind, or was this mental hospital kind of deal, Prozac Nation, was all of this a trick by the bad guy?
See, that's what I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I think it's a trick. I think that Arthur Harrow is trying to take over him. And because if you looked at his followers, they're kind of robotic too.
Right.
So definitely check out Moon Knight. And this one might be one you really want to binge. Once the last episode comes out, you might want to binge the 6 episodes, because it might all been tied together. I love when they can tie them all together at the end, and you're like, oh man, that's how they did it. So I think stay with it. Stick with it. I think the last 2 episodes are really going to be pivotal. And Marvel has a way of doing that too, right? So definitely we want to check that out. And now let's turn over to the DC universe with the new The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz.
Hidden in the chaos is the element, waiting to strike like a snake. But I'm there too, watching. We have a signal now for when I'm needed. Fear is a tool. Maybe this is all coming to an end. What is the Batman?
I'm gonna wait.
Don't yawn at me. Don't yawn at me.
Is that the new one?
That is the new one.
Oh man. Tell me what you thought.
Well, I think it's important to note that when Batman made that comment, maybe it's coming to an end, there was still an hour and 15 minutes left in
Thank
this
you.
film. Just
It wasn't
saying.
coming to an end.
Just saying. I thought that I thought Twilight did a really nice job as Batman. I actually
Twilight.
I enjoyed the quiet brooding. I think Zoe Kravitz did an exceptional job as Catwoman in many respects. Um, this is as dark and as negative.
Literally dark.
Yeah, it is. The only movie that I was more annoyed at being dark was Solo, and I have no idea why they had that blue tent light in that movie.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It was dark. It's not. There were some good performances, but I mean, let's let Batman sit for a bit. I don't want to see another Batman movie or see one that's out there until I'm about 62, 63 years. So more than a decade from now, I think we'll be ready again because I think it's just tried. And DC, you've done the Pepsi challenge and you've come up wanting. This is not that great. But again, some decent performances. The guy that played the Riddler, that's a good actor. He can
Paul Dano.
He can play a freaky guy really well. He can play a horrible villain. I think he was in 12 Years a Slave. I think he was one of the I think he was one of the overseers. I'll knock on wood. And it was a frightening performance there, if I'm right. But I thought he did a good job as Riddler. But man, 3 hours of my life, I'd probably like back.
Well, and that's just the problem with DC movies is that they do not have these director, and it was a writer, director, producer, edit their movies. That Zack Snyder movie was too damn long. This one at 2 hours and 56 minutes and 15 seconds was an hour too long. I thought that like the Super Dare Die Team, when I saw, I was like, oh, this is kind of a film noir, kind of a detective kind of story, which at, the 2 hour mark, at least would have been good, right?
Yeah, you're right. The film noir aspect
would have been good. That would have been a different, new kind of fresh version of it. And then they made the mistake that completely turned me off by having it be a kind of troll mob or, these. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it. You should have seen it by now. It's been out for months and on the HBO Max. But so you can put the spoilers on there. Like this troll mob that was a shooting and going around picking up. And I was like, wait a minute. This happened in real life at a Batman movie. So why are they actually having this kind of villainy, show up in the movie? That just disgusted me. I didn't like it. And that pissed me off. And I was like, this is some crap right here. And up until then, I was kind of feeling the mystery part of it. And then at that point, I was so disgusted by how they made it turn that I didn't like it. I just thought it was, but for, if parents are thinking about it, there's no sex, there's no gory violence. There is violence though, and a lot of it. So I wouldn't let little ones.
Scary. I think the mask from the beginning of it, those
were kind of scary. That's why I wouldn't recommend it for kids. It's not like, an Adam West kind of version or like the George Clooney or, Michael Keaton era ones. It just, when Christian Bale did it, he did it the best. And they should have just dropped the mic on it and just left it alone after that. And definitely not bring in Twilight, as you call him, because him as Batman was okay, but him as Bruce Wayne, I was like, dude, What's up with you? I mean, he wasn't meaty enough. And then he's like skinny. He's still got that Twilight skinny vampire body. I'm like, everybody else bulked up, because I didn't believe his fighting either. I mean, I was like, I think I could take him. I was like, this dude, no. So, not impressed, didn't need it, an hour too long, and super dark. Not in terms of just visually. It was too dark. I'm Batman. But I did kind of, okay, so, I always don't like to trash stuff too much. But I did like the Arkham story and the Wayne kind of story. I thought that was unique and different. Mm-hmm. And I thought the thread line of how Gotham became how it was, I thought that was interesting and different. And if they could have leaned in more into that film noir detective part, it could have been a really great movie. But instead, it doesn't get a thumbs up from either of us, I think. Yeah.
Or at least a thumb here. I'll go here, middle.
Yeah. Boo. Last hour made it a boo. Boo. So we don't need that kind of visuals out there right now. You can see that on the news. So definitely I wouldn't check out the Batman, but go ahead if you want to, and then let us know what you think. So the final one is something I think both David and I are fans of, kind of mystery, kind of film noir, kind of this era of films, the great Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile.
One bullet, small caliber, probably a 22.
He's only the greatest detective alive. Oh, he exaggerates. No, he's quite correct, actually.
Well, I think we're having some technical difficulties.
I do not need to be told. I have eyes and
we're
they
watching
see
the movie, though.
It now thinks somewhat poorly of you.
There we go.
The murderer is here.
And we'll stay here.
No, this is my favorite of the week.
Far and away.
Yeah, David, what'd you think?
I'm a big fan of Agatha Christie, and I think that these two, the last two that Kenneth Branagh has brought to the screen, have been really fun. A little different than the books. They've all had their own little unique takes. This one did. I mean, I knew who the bad guys were. I knew who done it, as it were, because I've read the book and I've seen the films. But it was still great to kind of take us there. And loved the opening scenes, kind of in the war. Not really seen that before with Poirot. Mm-hmm. But great selection of cast, great ensemble. Loved every minute of it. This is what movies are really about. This is a fun flick.
Yeah, and I really like Kenneth Branagh's direction. I mean, he's been hitting it on all cylinders these past few years when he's been directing. And this time he made Hercule Poirot. I think that's how you say it. Much more human, than before, with some sly hints of humor in there, and love interest in there, which I thought Sophie Okonedo. Oh, I just love her in whatever she's in. I first saw her in Aeon Flux. Oh, and I loved her ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And she is fantastic. And it was a really interesting way that they brought in a multicultural cast to this, because I hadn't seen that in any of the movies before. Some of it I'm kind of like, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but I don't care. I just like to see us represented in this stuff. But I think that Gal Gadot, oh, so beautiful and so different. It's a departure from her as the always good, upstanding Wonder Woman to someone who is cruel and manipulative and a boss too. Yeah. So that was really interesting. And the only thing that kept going through my mind, unfortunately, was Army Hammer. It's like, the cannibal dude. He's in too much of it for them to have taken him out.
Oh yeah, you can't cancel him just yet with this.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be in anything else. But I just thought that prior to this, I just loved him as an actor. So the other characters, and if some of you might be familiar with French and Saunders from Absolutely Fabulous back in the day, and
right.
Yeah, and I love them. And so it was great to see them out again. And the cast was just amazing. And a really interesting, different take on the Death of the Nile, Agatha Christie story. But if you've seen the older versions, David, which one did you like more? The older version or this version?
Well, I would have to say the masterpiece. We talked about Peter Ustinov version,
yeah,
and there's an Albert Finney version.
Yeah,
I really prefer the Masterpiece Theater version from the BBC. I think that was my favorite of these four.
Yeah,
the fact that they began this film in World War I,
right,
to explain the hideous mustache. But I thought that was kind of a funny little, But I would say the Masterpiece Theater is my favorite. What about you? What's your favorite one?
I think it was Albert Finney's version in the 70s. I think maybe early 80s, late 70s.
But yeah,
I really like that one. I just thought that the characters and the people playing them. It was so, and I hadn't seen anything before that. So when the shocking, whodunit was revealed, I was like, oh, wow, I never expected it. And this time, I don't think that they gave you more of a wow factor at the end about who done it. You kind of could figure it out if you hadn't seen it. There were a lot of clues about it. Whereas in the one back then, they, it was really hidden unless you kind of read the books or you saw the earlier version. Yeah. But I think this one, and it's kind of easier than Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah,
I think it's a little easier to watch. It makes more sense as a story. And so I think you'll keep seeing this one get remade for a long time because it just works, It just works this is what detective stories look like when they're done well. I mean, they could have gone on and on and on and on like the Batman did, but they didn't. It was a defined story. You had a very distinct beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. And great acting all the way throughout. So this is how you do it. This is a director who knows what he's doing.
Do you think there'll be more of these or not?
Oh, yeah. I think there was like a trilogy. I think Poirot has like 15, 16 books.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. I wondered the way it was with kind of, and I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but there was a potential closing of the story because of the change that Poirot did before the film ended, to kind of think maybe he's riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be fascinating to see what happens. This was Agatha Christie's most hated character. She hated Poirot.
And did 15, 16 books on him?
Well, let's make in the scratch.
Yeah.
He hated this obnoxious, arrogant man with his little gray cells making all the engines fire.
Yeah.
A fantastic character, but one that the great novelist absolutely deplored and loved when she finally killed him off.
Oh, wow. He died. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And then did that start another story? Another detective story? Or she just killed him at the end? And that was it?
Off. I'm not quite sure where Mrs. Marple came. And of course, Mrs. Marple in the books, not a sweet little old lady, kind of more of a younger, more active adult heroine. Much more so like Agatha Christie herself, but
maybe we'll get a younger version of Miss Marple and be more entertained by these classic great stories. You know, that's what it's all about. I definitely recommend you read the book as well. I think it's fantastic. And you can see what happens when you have great actors, great direction, and great writing of, you know, great stories. So definitely check out. Definitely check. And I think everyone can watch this. I don't think there's anything in it that's offensive. And to kids or adults, or I mean, they might not get all of it. But and when I was a kid, I saw it. I didn't get all of it, but then I watched it through the years and I was like, wow, this is an incredible story for the time too. Yeah. Really incredible adult story. So definitely check out Death on the Nile. And that's it. That's what we have this week. Next week, finally, it's out in the able to get it. Go to your Redbox. Go to Amazon. You can rent it. Spider-Man, No Way Home. We're going to finally get a chance to review that, as well as the new entry into the Boys universe, The Boys Diabolical, a series of shorts based on the Boys characters, and Moon Knight. The penultimate episode is next week. All right. So
put some cheese on that.
I'm sure there'll be cheese and bacon on it. All right. So, David, in this very warm Saturday night, say goodnight to the people.
Good night to the people. Everybody enjoy. Look forward to watching the Moonlight. Not too many weeks. We're going to get Kenobi. We're going to get back with some more some things. So the summer is heating up for us. Yeah, like a month, literally, like May 25th, I think. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, Kenobi's out. And everybody take a chance. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Get out there, take a walk, enjoy Mother Nature. It's Earth Day was yesterday, so treat our planet well. So we can all live on her. We'll see you next time on PJamma Live. Take care. Bye. So long, everybody.